name is Brooks Church. This is my 2017 Ford Mustang GT RTR Spec 2, serial number 10. I was born into racing. I was literally at the racetrack in diapers while a security guard would watch me while my dad went out and raced. My dad did SCCA racing my entire life up until about 6 years ago. He decided he wanted to do more off-road stuff because he lives in North Carolina now and there's all that kind of stuff. But I've been in racing since I've been in diapers, and I started racing competitively. Well, I guess we'll call it racing. I did autocross at 14 years old. Then I started drifting at 16 years old. I had a Miata, so I did drifting until 2012, but in the meantime I still did road racing. Had a competition license in SCCA for 2 years. I did 6 race weekends and got a lot of first places out of it because my dad had a very built car, because I got to use his car because, face it, I was too broke. I was a drifter. I couldn't afford to build another car. I was fixing mine all the time. This is a 2017 Mustang GT Performance Pack 2 in Grabber Blue, and it is a RTR Spec 2, serial number 10. The reason I got this car is simple. I got my butt kicked in this car, well, the Spec 2, at Gridlife South the very first year when I had a BMW, and it pissed me off. So I was going to build a car to beat Vaughn's car. Why? Because, you know, that's a fun thing to do. It was Mike Peters driving it for Vaughn. It was a Spec 2, it was silver. Bam, Mike Peters goes flying past me. I'm like, sweet, awesome, let's have some fun. Go underneath braking, he outbrakes me. First corner, out turns me. Second corner, he takes off on me. By the time we get to the front straightaway at Road Atlanta, he is gone. And he did that every session, all weekend long, and zero problems with the car. It's a car with a warranty, so it's a factory-built race car that's also a street car. They put over 30,000 miles in that car in 3 months. That thing is amazing. So I had to have one. You know somebody like Vaughn, he builds amazing stuff, so what do? You beat him at his own game. Well, bought the car, brought it to Perform the Drift Atlanta, and ended up talking with him for a little while. One thing led to another. I got a phone call from him and Ian and a couple other guys about a month later. Next thing you know, I'm driving to Charlotte, North Carolina, to RTR, to have Vaughn's team build this car into a Spec 2. So this is one of only 2 ever made in Grabber Blue. This was not available. So myself and a guy named Jordan Wheeler, a friend of mine out in Texas, are the only 2 people with this color. We got that because we know enough people and we bought the car already, so they couldn't really refuse us on the color. It's called RTR, ready to rock, or ready to, you know, whatever you want to do. Drift, drag, race it, be dumb. You can do all of it. It's pretty easy. The RTR package comes with a Ford Performance Stage 1 tune. So it gives you an extra, I believe, 20 horsepower and 40 foot-pounds of torque. It's nothing crazy, but just a little bit to, you know, kind of pep it up a little bit. So the main thing about the RTR everybody notices is just the look of it, and obviously knowing that it's something that Vaughn built. But the greatest thing about these cars are they're kind of lumpy from the factory. They're a good car, but they just need a little bit more. All he does is just sharpen up everything. Sharpen up the throttle a little bit. Give it good ride, but give it good ability to corner very, very well. Sway bars, huge thing on this car. And it's a thing that RTR develops themselves, and their suspension. And then just little extra things like making the wheels look really, really good, but actually making them somewhat functional. The spoiler, the front lip, and then you also have the grill lights, which, you know, some people might find them corny, but I freaking love them. And when you get behind somebody on the highway, they don't know what it is, so they assume it's something awesome, so they just get out of the way. So when you get an RTR car, they are serialized between Spec 1, Spec 2, and Spec 3. They're soon to offer a Spec 5, which is the first cool thing just getting ready to come on the market for it. So a Spec 1 is mainly just an appearance package. You get the bodywork. Instead of 20-inch wheels, you get 19-inch wheels. You can optional for the exhaust on it, but just gives the overall look of the RTR package. Then Spec 2 gives you a little bit more performance while still using, you know, the stock motor with just a little increase in power, and just kind of just overall helps the car out. Spec 3, you know what? You had enough fun with the Spec 2, let's get you some power. 675 horsepower to over 700 horsepower. And then you have the Spec 5, which is the 10-year anniversary. It just came out. That is a full wide body, big build car with full customization of it. Then you have the Spec 5Ds, not for sale. Those are the drift cars that Vaughn and Chelsea drive, and drive the living crap out of, with their awesome 3-wheel motions, their crazy motors, and also just because those things are amazing and you hear them all day long banging off rambling, not a care in the world, and nothing happens to those cars. But a Spec 2 is their 20 by 9.5 inch wheels with a 275 tire. It comes with a front lip, these amazing lights from the front grille, lower grille. It comes with side skirt extensions, rear spats, rear diffuser, rear deck lid, rear spoiler, the full graphics package here, little fender badge, and on the inside you get floor mats, a shift knob, and of course the all-impressive dash plaque that actually Vaughn put on himself. The last day he just happened to show up, so we were just sitting there just chatting, and he was like, "Hey, let me put some stuff in your car, it's my car, kind of, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." He tried to steal it. I don't think that worked out real well for him because I got it before him. But yeah, did all that, and then last year I got lucky enough to actually work with him and Ford at Gridlife South last year, and got to test drive every single Mustang they currently make. It's got a pretty decent exhaust node. I added a X pipe in it from Steeda just to give it just a little bit more stuff on it. Has a little AEM intake pipe on it. So this thing does about, at Road Atlanta, about 145 miles an hour. I've got 30,000 miles in this, and probably half of those have been pretty hard miles. I don't drive this car all that easy, and it's fine for me. I got a set of power stop brakes on it. I've worked with power stop for the last couple of years. I have their track day pads on it right now. I run a Modular RBS 600 fluid because I boil fluid really fast in these cars, and I've had these same brake pads for 10,000 miles of track use, and it doesn't care. This is my first Mustang. I will say that. This is my first Mustang. Actually, what I started racing with was a 1979 Ford Fiesta. Not an attractive car, not a popular car, but it was quick, and my dad did a lot of work to it. It had pretty much a copy of a Formula Ford motor in it, kind of, per the rules, which if you're not cheating in racing, you're not doing it right. But yeah, that's kind of what started it all with me. And of course, I always had love for old school Fox bodies and all that. And then when this car came out with the S550 model with independent rear suspension, it already has a Coyote Modular V8, which is a just, new motor, quad overhead cam and all the kind of stuff. It was like, okay, let's see how it drives. Drove it one time, was like, this just drives like a heavy 240. It is so much fun. And so that's what sold me on the car. And then Vaughn built his own version of it. It was like, well, I can never afford to have that, so I'll build something I can beat him with that's on my budget. Well, Vaughn pulled the trump card out on that one and called me out, and now we have a Spec 2, so couldn't be happier. Thanks Vaughn, thanks Ian, thanks Mike Peters, thanks all the dudes that have helped me get this car, make this car, and always make me feel like I'm part of the team and part of the RTR family. You guys have been awesome to me, so. There's not really a whole lot extra done to the car. I run a set of Schroet, I guess you want to call it. They corrected me on how I said it wrong at PRI one year. They get really mad at me, actually. But I run their Quick Fit Pro harnesses just to give me just a little bit more. It's a 4-point belt system, if you haven't heard it, and it's got a little thing built into this corner over here. It's actually the belt looped over with a stitch put in it, so in the event of an accident, it lets you rotate. It's called ASM, or anti-submarining. So it's a technology that they have to let your whole body rotate, so it turns into a 3-point harness. So you can run it in any track day, any organization should legalize it. It's completely fine. It works just like a stock seatbelt, just has 4 points, and in the event of an accident, it turns into a 3-point. Awesome upgrade. Obviously, I already told you it's got power stop track day pads, and their rotors run a Modular RBS 600 fluid for brake fluid. I just run pretty simple Pennzoil Ultra Platinum Synthetic Motor Oil. I run a Mishimoto oil cooler setup on it because these cars do get really hot, especially with oil. They heat up really fast, and you kind of need those for track days. And then I have a GT 350R steering wheel because it's suede Alcantara. It's got an awesome little racer red stripe on the top of it. Tell me when I'm hopefully going straight, maybe. Besides that, I run a set of track wheels now that are a 19 by 9.5 with an NT01. So Vaughn convinced me that I need to start running a real tire on this car and see what it can really do. So that's the new tire setup if I end up keeping the car, or whoever gets it next if they want to race it. Obviously, I'll sell them the wheels too. So, the greatest thing ever, when somebody comes up to you at track and goes, "Oh man, this is so cool. What's all done to your car?" You go, "Oh yeah, stock. Stock airbox, stock headers, stock intake. It's got a strut tower from the factory. And yeah, that's it. Stock. That's all you need." I love this motor. The way it sounds, the way it feels, the power band, and it's a modern modular V8. I mean, no offense to LS guys, I know they're awesome, but this is new technology. Easiest way to go from street to race on an RTR car? Street, race. Street, race. Oddly enough, this car is getting ready to go up for sale here soon, and I'm going to get back into drifting and more road racing and be able to go to and have more fun and do more events. Because this thing, as fun as it is, it's kind of expensive to drive all the time. So when I started racing, it was a more of a, I guess you'd almost kind of a cult. Different areas, different people, but like we all stuck to ourselves. Now with social media and all these crazy tracks and all these organizations and everything else, like it's become this huge group. And everybody's become so much better and so much more awesome. Yeah, it's still just as competitive as it was before, but there's so many people that just want to help out now, especially when it comes to events like Gridlife. Those guys, everybody just always comes together and just is there for a seriously good time no matter what happens. Best thing about it is, it's you, steering wheel, car, 4 tires, and a nice big open track for you, your friends, to just go have fun with, and you don't go to jail over it. But I also can beat the crap out of this car, drive it from the track to the track, anywhere, and it's kind of fun. It's got AC, it's got great seats, it's comfy, it gets 20 some miles a gallon on the highway, it gets 17 around the city. No matter what you do, no matter how much money you have, the best thing you could ever do is go out and drive. Track time and seat time defeats every modification you can ever do to a car. I don't care what anybody has to say. Go out, have fun, drive your car, and be happy. You don't like it, you're not having any fun, stop. Do something else. Go away, let us have the fun. It's been fun, hope you guys have enjoyed this, and see you guys around here soon.